comment on your thoughts on David Stringer?
I really can't comment on that, but I'm keeping him in my thoughts and prayers because
you were just elected as state party chair. Why can't you comment on that?
We're looking at the process. We've got to.
Welcome to the Gaggle, where we bring you inside the newsroom to talk politics beyond what's in print. 1 year after the House of Representatives ousted a Republican lawmaker, Don Shooter, for a range of alleged misdeeds, here we are back again with another Republican in the hot seat. You've been covering it from the House chambers. Dustin, tell us what is going on with Representative David Stringer.
So people might remember David Stringer came under a lot of fire last year for a series of racist comments that he made. There were calls for him to resign, and then the pressure on him just really ratcheted up a lot over the weekend. There was a story that came out in the Phoenix New-Times that revealed he was charged with a series of sex crimes back in the 1980s. That led to a call for expulsion on the House floor on Monday. Representative Reginald Boulding introduced that motion, but House Republicans blocked it.
So can you give us a sense of how Republicans are weighing this call for expulsion as compared to they did with Shooter?
That's the really interesting shift here. With Shooter, there was an outside investigation and then just a straight push for a floor expulsion vote. This time around, Republicans are stressing that this should go through the House Ethics Committee. You had Representative Kelli Townsend, who previously had led the push to expel Shooter. She's saying that now this should go through an ethics process, that was a mistake. And so Republicans feel like there should be kind of a much slower due process this time around, while Democrats say that the evidence is overwhelming and that regardless of an investigation, there's going to be a push to expel him.
It does seem to be as though even moderate Republicans seem to be pretty frustrated with the way this is being handled. Like, what more has to happen for someone to be expelled? Is this not enough?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard any Republicans in leadership say that they think he's going to survive this process. I think people kind of see the writing on the wall. That seems to be the mood at the moment anyhow. But they do feel like they want to know all the facts. They feel like that the process is there for a reason, and they want that process to play out.
Maybe lessons learned from the expulsion of Don Shooter. They saw a lot of lawsuits after that.
Absolutely.
Jessica, we might see a departure of Maricopa County Attorney Bill Montgomery. He might move down the street to the Supreme Court. Do we have a sense as to what his prospects might be and what that might mean for Maricopa County?
Well, you know, he's about one of a dozen who are applying for that open seat on the state Supreme Court, obviously a very coveted position. We do know that obviously County Attorney Montgomery is very well liked within the party. He is close with Governor Ducey, and so the question will become, you know, how does that all play out? He's also not as well liked by other parts of the political landscape, so it will definitely be an interesting situation, and more importantly, it will be interesting to see how that plays out for Maricopa County, because the Board of Supervisors will be left to appoint a new top prosecutor for the county, and that's no small role either. So we'll be waiting.
Sounds like a lot of people are gearing up.
So if Representative Stringer and County Attorney Montgomery are moving up, maybe you're covering someone who's moving on, Kelli Ward. Talk about what happened over the weekend with her.
So Kelli Ward, who is a firebrand hard-right conservative Republican, was elected recently to lead the state Republican Party. She is the former state lawmaker who twice lost her bids for the U.S. Senate. That means Jonathan Lyons, who was the establishment more moderate favorite, is moving out. Some saw that as an unexpected development because, essentially the party has become the party of Kelli Ward, Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, some of these more right-wing conservative elected officials who might not necessarily share the same sort of vision as moderate Republicans like Doug Ducey. The list goes on and on. So we'll see what the implications of this might be for the 2020 race. Certainly sets up an interesting dynamic.
Seems to.
You have been tracking another elected official, Representative O'Halloran, who was one of two Congress people to ask for the cost estimates of the last historic shutdown.
Yeah, so 35 days of partial government shutdown, that cost the U.S. economy an estimated $3 billion, it looks like, and that's a permanent reduction. The final total might be a little bit higher, and we might repeat all of this if we lapse back into a shutdown in later this month if both sides can't come to any resolution on the border wall.
That's an astounding amount of money. Well, thank you so much for following us. You can read our politics coverage on azcentral.com, and you can follow us on Twitter. We will see you next week.